Hello, everyone, and welcome to They Came From Beneath the Sea. This is session 2 of The Thing That Wore My Face. When last time we got together, our adventurers discovered death at the drive-in. A poor gentleman by the name of Brad was found very dead. His head was removed in an unclean fashion and was not cut. Whoever did this used extreme force. You discovered that his head was crushed in seemingly by several rapidly constricting bands, such as ropes or tentacles. You discovered a left shoe that was left behind at the crime scene. And you discovered a green dust present. It was radioactive. You discovered also, while investigating that Brad was in a excited state when he was killed. Is that fair to say?
Turgid.
Yes. From there, you went to investigate Susie Smith, the girl he was there supposedly on a date with, where you discovered a couple things. One, her father, Herbert Smith, is a scientist working for the U.S. Navy. And as you also discovered, a German scientist working for the U.S. Navy. Though he is in hiding, Susie is not aware of her true nature as a descendant of a German. And you have been asked to keep it secret. You discovered that Susie was still at the house. She had been tied up and thrown in the closet, and some of her clothing, including the shoes of interest, had been taken after she claimed that her father knocked her out. From there, you decided to go to her father's lab. You dropped Susie off with the police so that she would not get caught in the crossfire should any sort of dangerous activity take place, and made your way to the naval base, where you were let inside by guards who were behaving strangely, focusing entirely on the weather and not so much on checking your IDs or credentials as you interacted with them. Does that sound about like everything that we've covered up to this point?
Yeah, there was definitely a cliffhanger sort of thing. I forget, was it the father? What's his name? Herbert? Herbert Smith, apparently.
Herbert Smith.
Who said, like, those aren't the normal guards, or they should have checked. What did he say at the
They
end?
should have checked our IDs.
Yeah, they should have checked for ID.
Right.
Before we put on the next reel of this film, you do have a brief option during the intermission to make what we like to call in the Storypath system tweaks. In the event that you would like to move one of your attributes to another attribute, or one of your skills to another skill, one of the dots, you may do so. All you need to do is mark that attribute or skill that is receiving the new dot with like an asterisk or something along those lines, so that we know that you have to roll at this session. But you can certainly make one change of either nature if you so choose. Your other opportunity here is to alter aspirations. If you feel like any of your aspirations aren't fitting with the story that we have wound up with, you're free to change them. If you resolved an aspiration last session, it's highly recommended that you select another one, as it is the primary way by which you gain experience.
I guess I'm going to stick with mine. I kind of was a little unclear about when to evoke them, and now I know a little better. So I'll make a little more of an effort to do that during this session.
Beautiful. Any other tweaks that anyone would like to make?
Yeah, I think I'm good.
I feel like maybe head down, straight forward is the way to go here.
That's fair.
I don't know what I don't know that I need.
Also fair. And with that level of punchy dialogue, we're going to dive right back into the thing that wore my face. So you are now moving into the interior parking lot behind the wire, as they say in the military, past the fence where the regular Jeeps and whatnot are parked. Fine American automobiles. What would you like to do? Dr. Smith is definitely disconcerted and keeps kind of looking over his shoulder at the guards. The guards, for their part, just stand kind of in the middle of the road by the guard shack, just waving back.
At us?
At
Or
you.
just...
Like in your
Okay.
direct, yeah, waving at you. But not like come here, like
Yeah.
very mechanically and coldly.
I think we should kind of proceed. Do they have any way of alerting, as far as we can tell, people inside? Like, is there a phone in the guard shack and stuff like that?
Yeah, you probably would have seen a phone in the guard shack. You're also aware that they do have radios on their belts.
Okay.
I was driving, right?
Aaron is driving. How can that be? No, yeah, it was you driving.
Okay.
Wow, that's an obscure reference.
Isn't it?
To
Somebody will get it.
the one episode of Clerks, the animated series that actually aired.
Well played.
Do I get a point?
That's the last Alec Baldwin reference I'll make for the night. So, what? Yes, your driving was the point of that whole tangent.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like we should neutralize the guards, right? But we got to be cool about it.
Like slick back hair, cool. Like cigarette up the sleeve type of cool.
Sure.
Just launch her up. But I'm down.
Let's see.
That's going to require me turning the car around and
No, probably not. No.
being cool about it.
I think we. So, maybe I'll walk up there and start up a conversation with them, and then you guys can sneak around, maybe. Or it'd be hard to sneak out of the fence, probably, wouldn't it?
Getting out of the fence would definitely pose a challenge at this point. Yes, that is true.
Maybe we could beckon them in here. Let's see. Yeah, maybe we just pretend like we're having car trouble and ask them to come help us.
Read my mind. So as I'm driving, I go a little bit and then I let my foot off of the gas so that it like starts to drift. And I'm gonna like flicker the lights a couple of times.
Okay.
To make it just, do that. And then eventually the car is gonna come to a stop and I'll turn it off. Oh no. Car trouble.
I like what
It
you're
happens
doing.
at the worst time.
You look over and the guards are still standing there.
Well, I'm going to hop out. Tell everybody the basic plan. Just kind of beckon. Can you men come here and try to help us with this vehicle? We don't want to leave it parked right in the middle of the road like this.
One of them steps forward. The other one steps into the guard shack.
Oh. Let's see. Maybe Morton, you can go just talk to the guy in the guard shack and just find an excuse.
Charm our way through. So you're the plan here is to neutralize them, like just kind of take them out, right? So they're not a problem to us.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
cool.
probably steal their radios.
Sure. I can do that.
Does that sound good to everyone?
Hey, Doc. Smith, doctor.
Yes.
Stay in the car.
Oh, you best believe I'm staying in this car. Yes.
Also, do me a favor.
Yes.
Keep your head down at about 7, 8 o'clock. Just in case there's...
But it's already 9:45.
Just keep your head down.
He puts his head down. What is Morton doing while this conversation is occurring?
I guess I'm sauntering up to the guard post where the other guard is while the other one's going towards the car, right?
Yeah. So the one that you're like walking up, you're gonna wind up crossing paths with the one who's walking toward the car.
Okay.
Are you gonna do anything to try to avoid that direct interaction, or
No, I'll just walk past.
he
Cool.
like steps, like is walking along forward and like just sidesteps, like rather than turning, like literally moves his leg to the side and slides in front of you. Can I help you, citizen?
Yes, we are having car trouble. I put a hand on his shoulder and then kind of whiff him back towards the car, if that's cool. Like guide him.
Yeah, absolutely. So go ahead and make a strength. Well, actually, the way that this would be is close combat or athletics would probably be the skill that you would rely on most likely. And then it would be whatever attribute you feel is most pertinent to the situation.
Okay. I'll go with athletics. Oh,
Right.
sorry.
Yeah, no, I would. Athletics is fine for your skill, and then out of your attributes, might generally represent strength, but you could also fall back into like stamina to outlast him, or fall back into even just like resolve to like have your mind made up that he's the one that's going to move.
Oh yeah, resolve. That's definitely what I want to use.
All right, so go ahead and make a resolve athletics, and he's going to just try to hold his ground with a might and close combat roll. So
Where do I find this stuff?
so on your sheet, each of those traits is clickable.
Oh, right. Okay.
All right, so you want to open your sheet and make sure it's in a separate window.
Click to send a chat. Yeah, do that. Oh my goodness. Sorry, my internet is incredibly slow right now.
No worries. Are you sure it's not just your browser being incredibly slow? Are you
It
on
might
Chrome?
be the browser. Yeah, it's probably the browser.
It's probably because you're on Chrome. You can either switch to Firefox to alleviate most of that problem, or turn on and or off your hardware acceleration. Either one of those should handle it.
I will totally switch. So sorry about this, everybody.
Oh, no worries.
So this is the guy who's coming toward us, not the one at the guard shack, right?
Correct. Yeah, he sort of interposed himself in the way. And so we're just going to see if...
I mean, this is kind of metagaming, but Morton, you could just say, we think part of our car fell off back there. We're just going to go check for that. We think a spark plug fell out, or a distributor cap wire or something. I don't know. Car things.
Let me get more specific about why I'm shoving him behind me.
We think vital car teeth might have fallen off.
It's leaking blinker fluid.
You could get more finessey than shovey, because like the other guy might see the shoving, I guess. I don't know. It's up to you. You do you.
Morton's good at shoving, though. We're about to see how good, theoretically.
I mean, my resolve is made up on shoving personally, but that's just
okay.
I mean, it's less of a shove and more of a I'm going to guide you away from
right. It's a
car.
guided force. That's fair.
Holy crud, that is way nicer. Okay, I swear. Oh shit.
As we say on the channel, tech happens.
Oh, tech. Look at that. It loaded and everything.
Excellent. Tight. So yeah, once you have your sheet popped out, you'll just click your resolve and click your athletics.
So,
you're fine.
something. Oh gosh, my athletics is no longer clickable.
Oh, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
I don't know what I broke, and I'm terribly sorry.
You have special skills. Let me tell you something, Patsy.
To fuck things up. Oh, hey, I found athletics somewhere else. There we go.
There you go.
Ended up elsewhere on the sheet.
Well, it does work. So you are able to shove him at a pretty good, like he like doubles his pace as he steps forward, almost bounces off the back of the car, and you continue like without even missing a step. He walks over and says, "Lovely night for some car trouble."
Oh, to us.
Yeah.
Not to, okay. Yes, it sure is. Reminds me of the time I launch into a sort of a bit of a story or something like that, so that
which I'm going to use to.
Yeah. So a distraction, if you will. And we're going to wait till Morton is kind of in, as I look over the shoulder, can I see the progress that Morton is making and what the other guard is doing?
Sure. While you're looking over the shoulder, you see Morton approach the guard shack. Now, are you walking straight up to the guard shack, Morton, or are you sneaking over once you're past this other guard?
Nah, I'm going to walk right up to it.
All right. As you walk up to the guard shack, the guard's back is to you, and you hear kind of a crunching sound, almost as if like someone is opening like a Snickers wrapper, for example.
Cool.
And what would you like to do? He's a little hunched over.
Okay. I kind of want to tap him on the shoulder and say, "Excuse me."
He spins around rapidly, and his mouth opens wide, 5-6 times wider than it should. You see the skin at the edges of his lips start to like shred and then pull long and taut and then pop with little flecks of blood that sort of spray forward. Emerging from this now gaping maw, you see a creature that vaguely resembles this. Let's see.
Here's a visual representation. My cardigan has Loch Ness Monster on it.
I love Loch Ness Monster.
Oh.
So
and he or she loves you.
Along those lines, if you can see that token. And that tentacled creature leaps forward off of the neck stump mouth hole of this guard toward your face. So do tell, what is your defense trait? Do you have a defense trait? I believe it starts as a 1, and then you may choose to either use your stamina to try to like take the hit. You can use resolve to try not to get scared, basically as a defense, or composure to like whether or not you're scared, you don't let it sweat you. Or if you want to take your full action for the turn, you can roll double any one of those traits to add to your defense.
Okie dokie. Where do I find that information? The defense information specifically.
If it's not listed on your sheet, then your defense defaults to a 1.
Okay.
Which is the difficulty of what somebody would need to roll if they wanted to hit you.
Okay.
Effectively.
Cool. Well, then I guess I will try and keep my composure.
All right. Are you going to use a full actions defense, or are you going to just use the basic defense?
I think I'll use the basic.
All right. So go ahead and make a composure roll, please.
Okay.
All right. So you have 1 success, so that will make your defense a 2. What that means is that the target number of that anyone needs to hit you this turn is the target number. The difficulty is 2. They need 2 successes to be able to hit you.
Okay.
Make sense?
Easy.
All right.
For them.
So as they are leaping forward, they are going to utilize their close combat and we'll say might. They get only 1 success, which is not sufficient to actually overcome your defense. So you sort of are able to get a hand up in the way and like bat it to the ground before it lands on your face.
Cool.
And then let's go ahead and just for the sake of initiative, we're going to go in the order of what I see on my screen. So the first action will be yours, Pesto, as you're closest to this anyway.
All right, far out. Well, I would like to light a cigarette first.
Okay, that's fair.
Thank you very much. I kind of want to kick it. Oh, that's cool.
Sure, you can light a cigarette while you kick at it. That's fine.
Right.
Go ahead and give me a. It's probably going to be close combat, I would say, or unless you had another skill that you think would better fit it. And then, what attribute would you like to rely on as you're trying to field goal this squid face monster from beneath the sea? Excellent. Go ahead and roll.
Sweet. Here's that one and that one.
Excellent. It's total 2 successes. We will have a stamina roll from our guy. You kick it like directly in right between the tentacles. And it doesn't seem to have any impact on it whatsoever. Like you send it flying probably about 10 feet, but it doesn't seem to have hurt it at all. And in fact, you swear it chuckles a little bit.
Cool.
So I'm going to need a couple things. First off, before you take your actual action, is it Dirk, correct?
Yes.
You will need. I'm going to need you to make like a roll to keep your shit together while you see this happening, like over this guard's shoulder.
Okay. Would that be a composure roll? Or?
Yeah, I would say composure would probably be good. And if you'd like to have a skill that you'd like to try to add off of that.
Would you accept science? Because this guy is kind of like he's into subaquatica and
sure, yeah,
and weird science. So he's kind of like that's part of the tropes, you know. So,
I'd allow that, to be a little bit like your knowledge allows you to be relatively blasé about this incredibly not normal thing happening behind you.
I don't want to say he's like jaded, but probably a little bit jaded.
That's fair. Yeah, so go ahead and give me a composure science if you don't mind. And
by science, I have A and R written.
Those just mean those come from one of your paths.
Okay, got it.
So that when you raise the paths,
composure,
they're cheaper. And
there is science.
All right, that's sufficient that you are not going to suffer any sort of penalty or complication to your action. Though he does start to like turn over in that direction a little bit, but you have an action first. So what would you like to do?
Well, I think I would like to continue to try to engross him with my tedious yet engaging story about car trouble and weather, and probably use manipulation for that. Maybe is that
sure? And
meanwhile,
what skill would you like to rely on for that? It's gonna be more of like a persuasion thing, more of a
manipulation, and I guess persuasion would probably be the ones that made sense, right?
All right. Yeah, go ahead and give me a manipulation persuasion roll.
Manipulation and persuasion.
Excellent. You have his relatively undivided, like he almost starts to look in that direction, then like rapidly shifts back. Like you caught his attention with some word you said.
But I mean, buddy, what are you going to do? A car is a car. You got to keep a car running. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, though, it's just time to pay the organ grinder, which is a quip. I mean,
I am totally on board with that quip counting towards your next roll.
And that quip is sort of like with a very unsubtle eyebrow raise for Alvin, who is now positioned well behind him with a pipe wrench, I'm assuming, or something, to the tire iron, or even just his gun, I guess. And because you have a gun, right, Alvin?
I do.
Yeah. What are you brandishing, Alvin?
Well, as a matter of fact, since I have good old fashioned fisticuffs and knuckle sandwich.
Okay.
I figure between the two of them, I can probably give myself enough of a bonus that I could just kind of double axe handle this guy and go like, old school.
Sure. Yeah, go ahead. And I'm going to give you an enhancement of 2 because his attention is raptly being held by your associate.
Can I ask real quick, what do I get once again for using the quip, Travis?
You get a +1 enhancement for your next roll. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And you can stack them up too. You can stack up to +5 from quips.
Good. Okay. I don't remember if I did that last time. Let's just assume I did. I probably did the last time I had to roll. So.
Alvin, go ahead and what skill would you like to rely on for this to cold combat?
So this is going to be close combat, along with might.
Excellent. And are you activating any of those tropes, or do they activate? I know some of them are just when you do a thing, X happens.
Yeah, I looked at both of them, and they both had like descriptions, but neither of them had, activated when this happens. Just that, like, good old fashioned fisticuffs is like, now this person's one of the most dangerous people on the planet, and Knuckle Sandwich was, Pete punched a hole through the door before so-and-so and is still fumbling with their lockpicks.
I see. And these are both under tropes, correct?
They're trademarks.
Trademarks, beautiful. Let me just triple check that we're giving you the appropriate bonuses, because I think they have a relatively flat.
Yeah, because good old-fashioned fisticuffs is linked to close combat, and Knuckle Sandwich is linked to might.
When you activate a trademark, you get 2 additional dice on the action. And if the roll is successful, you may claim directorial control over the scene. This allows you to do things like performing a special stunt where you tell the director to change little things. Each success spent on directorial control can remove or add 1 detail in the scene. So go ahead and make that roll. You have 2 additional dice. So once you've made your roll, then go ahead and hit the D10 twice and roll that.
Okay.
So we're looking at might and we're looking at close combat. Is that correct?
Yep. So close combat. Might.
All right. And then go ahead and roll 2 10-sided dice and let's see what those come up.
Do I click the little paper airplane?
Yep. Excellent. A 5 and a 1. So not only did you not succeed, but you have botched. So
Awesome.
You will gain 2 points of momentum. So remember, you begin each session with a number of momentum in the pool equal to the party. Or not momentum, I'm sorry, rewrites. And you gain 2 additional rewrites for your botch. So congratulations.
Thanks. I feel like success might have been better, but cool.
You step forward and you hit him in such a fashion that not only do you accelerate the rapid ejection of the passenger inside of this body onto your ally's face, but you also trigger something terrible. This terrible thing will affect all 3 of you. Fortunately for you, Dr. Smith remains safe in the car.
Oh, good. I'm glad the NPC's fine.
All right, we have 6 dice of.
It doesn't really do. I'm a little unclear on what some of the explanations for the trademarks are. It doesn't really say much specifically.
So what that means is you can apply if effectively if the trademark's feel or theme comes into play, you can, again, it's sort of a loose template you can apply to an action.
Okay.
So this falls within my trademark because X, Y, and Z.
Okay.
If we all agree, then sweet. And then you get the 2 dice. Make sense?
I think so.
All right. I need the 2 of you to roll stamina, please.
Okay.
2 of who?
Sorry, me and you, I'd assume.
Yeah, the 2 of you, both of you.
Okay.
Why am I having so much trouble finding these things? Where's stamina?
Stamina's under attributes.
Does I'm the Juggernaut
there it is.
apply here?
With stamina?
Yeah.
No, because you're not trying to like keep moving forward through
Okay.
like a excellent.
Can I add my +1 for using the quip to this?
You may. Yep. So just roll your stamina, then roll an extra d10.
Okay.
All right, so you got 1 success. So you'll take 1 point of damage. And as will, Alvin will take 2. And the squid person also takes 1. As the way you hit that, you hit it just in the right spot that you caused the body to explode. Seems for a moment that shouldn't happen until you realize that the damage that you have suffered is due to shrapnel from the metal components in that body that have now stuck in your face, neck, and shoulders.
Both of us?
Yeah, both of you.
Wow.
Okay.
And the little squid dude is now free and is going to jump on Dirk's face.
That's me. Where do I see, like, where do I take off hit point? Oh, the 10 out of 10, I'm assuming, up in that very top left?
No. If you look at on your sheet where it says, I believe it's under your skills, below your paths, you'll see a selection of conditions. Just a flesh wound, that'll leave a scar.
Got it.
Don't forget me.
Yeah.
So you click the first, you go right to left with them. So you'll click the first one under just a flesh wound.
Okay. Okay.
Now, this is where all your ARs help. Any skill that you have listed as AR gets +1 die because you're hurt.
All right. Okay.
All right. So this squid-like tentacled creature is going to jump onto your face, or at least try to jump onto your face. Since you've already effectively acted for the turn, the best you can do is a single one of your resilience attributes to resist. What would you like to rely on to resist?
Let's see. Probably won't let me do cunning, right? That's when I have this pretty high.
Yeah, because cunning is finesse, so it's anything that's in the resilience tree. So
the resilience.
Resolve, stamina,
gotcha.
or composure.
None of mine are particularly high because I'm a wimpy scientist, dude. I guess stamina.
Okay, go ahead and roll your stamina. All right, 2 successes, not bad, but also not quite sufficient to weather this blow as this thing leaps onto your face with amazing just might and deals 4 points of damage to you.
Okay.
So that fills in the other 2 dots under the first health condition. You just keep...
And then 2 more, and that'll leave a scar?
Yep. As it like crushes and twists, and like you can see very clearly, Alvin, like places where the suckers on the ends of these tentacles are like basically giving Dirk like instant hickeys and then pulling free. So like there's like a sound with each of them, and some blood is spraying out of a couple of them, like where the skin is actually pulling free. He's getting rocked pretty hard by this thing. That will bring us back around to Morton. Morton, you hear a beep, beep, beep. What would you like to do?
Where do I hear that from? Sorry, I hear it, but do I know where?
Yeah, you spin over to look. Like the camera cuts in and you spin over to look, and then it cuts real wide and goes Dutch over to the neck hole where you see like circuits and one light flashing.
Yes. All right, this is going to be a weird idea, so bear with me. Am I able to use any of that circuitry of electricity? Like if there's any like 2 wires of electricity that can spark and try and electrocute the squid thing?
Okay, yeah. So you're going to like reach in and try to pull out some of the wiring of this suit?
If it, yeah, if it sparks, hopefully it sparks.
Go ahead and give me this is going to be a technology roll. I would say probably a resolve, unless you have another attribute that you think would be better.
Either cunning or resolve. Yeah, I'm totally down.
All right. And then it's going to be difficulty 3 because this technology is built for creatures with tentacles, not fingers. So.
Okay.
Go ahead and roll your resolve in technology, and we'll see how it goes from there.
Okay.
Excellent. Cuts back to an extreme close-up of Morton as Morton raises an eyebrow, pulls out you see just a shot of the 2 hands grabbing the 2 wires, a quick pss, pss, as the sparks shoot, and then you pull forward, yanking out like feet upon feet upon feet of wire from this body, and leaping toward the squid. But you won't be able to make your actual attack until its next action, because you use your action to, unless you would like to, you'd have to split your dice pool, and we didn't do that. My fault. Yeah, you're diving toward it. It sort of turns and looks at you and takes off running as fast as it can away. So it's not like going to take advantage of this tactically, as the body is sort of bouncing along behind you as you're dragging it towards this creature that's just like booking. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen like a octopus on land, how they just sort of like, I gotta go. Like that's how, yeah, it's doing that number toward the shoreline. Whilst that is happening, what would Dirk like to do?
One of my tropes is atomic power. It says that I get you have a single item that is nuclear powered. When used in combat, it has the deadly tag. Otherwise, it provides +1 enhancements when used for its specific function. Is that a one-time use thing? Or can I?
Yeah, once you activate it, that's what you have for the duration of the story, basically.
That's my weapon, you mean, for the duration?
Sure, if you use it as a weapon, yeah. You could also use it as like I have a nuclear powered healing accelerator. Boop, boop, boop. So I get whatever it's just like an omni gadget, basically.
But you will only have one purpose.
Right. Once you've established its purpose, that's its purpose for the rest of the story.
If I use a nuclear powered device to blast something off my face, that I don't know.
Perfectly safe.
It sounds like something they'd be cool with in the 50s. Because nuclear power isn't that dangerous. I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to use a small nuclear weapon on this thing, because the flesh of a aquatic based creature has a different properties than us land based things, and it'll affect it differently, and it'll kill it and not me.
All right. You pull out your atomic modulator and put it directly underneath your chin, and go ahead and give me a, I would say this can be either aim,
okay,
or
science.
Yeah, let's do science. And then what attribute would you go with?
Well, I have AR.
You have AR under science?
Yeah.
Do you have a trademark that might apply to it?
Well, Subaquatica. There I fixed it. Or Taste for Danger. Taste for Danger. Well, there I fixed it as cunning. The Taste for Danger is science, and Subaquatica is science.
I would say the Taste for Danger or the Subaquatica. Either one of those would probably work.
Yeah, I mean, they'll be the
here.
same dice roll, right?
That'll give you an additional 2 dice. Plus, you have how many dice from your wounds right now?
Well, do they stack, or is it +2?
It's whatever your the highest level is.
It's +2 then.
Yep. So you have a total of +4 dice to this roll.
Okay. So there goes science. And aim was the other one you said, or no?
An attribute that you feel is most appropriate. So it could be cunning, could be, for quick thinking.
Okay. Well, cunning's pretty high, so I'll go with cunning. So that was I did science and cunning, and then we had. I didn't even see that. Okay.
You get 4 more dice.
Okay. 4d10 is what you're saying?
Yep.
Okay.
And then once that's rolled, we just hover over it with the mouse pointer and it'll tell us what your results were. Okay, so that comes out to a 2 successes, one success, I'm sorry, on that roll. So you have a total of 7 successes against its 2. So that's 5. That's an exceptional success. Plus you activated your trope or your trademark. So you have directorial control. So you may add or remove any one fact or item or point from the scene as you aside from the creature that you were removing from the scene by literally like atomizing it off of your face. So you hit the button on this thing and it just lets out like this little, as all of its tentacles shoot out straight, and then it sort of fades into nothingness.
Well, what does the death tag mean? Does that mean it just automatically kills it? Like
deadly means it does an additional level of damage.
Okay. It doesn't say that. It says, it does say deadly. I'm sorry, not death. Okay. Right. All right, cool. And so I get to remove one other. So I get to like rewrite something essentially, kind of in a way.
Right. You can add or remove one little bit from the scene. Now that could be, something as simple as establishing that I think I have an idea. Get there in time to call for backup. Like you can establish that to be true. Things like that. Whatever, or you could say that for whatever reason the bomb that Morton is carrying right now doesn't go off.
Okay. I was thinking about making something very revealing and plot furthering and very helpful to us come over the radio, but we do have kind of immediate concerns, don't we? So,
I mean, it's up to you. There's one person left that's in combat. If you want to have something that's plot revealing coming over the radio, that's fine. It's entirely your call.
I think I'm just gonna I'm gonna go with your suggestion. I feel a bit dirty doing it, but the bomb doesn't go off.
No, you shouldn't feel dirty because you're saving Morton from getting half his ass blown off. So, I mean,
because you came up with it. You're like, here, say this, and things will be better. No, so,
I'm just giving you. You can if you want to do something else, by all means.
No, I think that is probably. I'm
just telling you what I would do if I were you.
Yeah. I think that's probably the most prudent thing right now. Let's do that.
All right. As you give this another tug, Morton, you hear like a beep, and then it just stops beeping. Like as you're tugging this thing along. So like you've accidentally disarmed it, basically. Alvin, what would you like to do at this point?
Is there another squid creature still running away?
Yeah, the one that Morton is chasing up by the guard shack.
And it's running away from the facility.
Yeah, it seems to be making its way toward the beach.
Does this guard have a gun?
This guard does not have a gun. This guard has a nightstick. You see there's a holster for a sidearm. It is empty.
Sure. All right. Well, then I'm just going to use mine.
All right.
I'm gonna shoot this thing.
Excellent. So we'll say aim. You're gonna have a complication of 2 because you're shooting at long range.
Okay. So I'm going to use aim, and even though I am upset and down on myself for what just happened, I am resolved to redeem myself by making this shot happen.
Beautiful. Works for me.
And I am +1 because aim is an AR skill.
Excellent.
Did that come in?
I didn't see it yet.
I don't see anything.
There we go.
Okay.
Bang. All right. You let off a round. In doing
And then that was the additional die there at the bottom.
All right. Excellent. All right. So, and what's the enhancement on that pistol?
Don't actually know.
It's just a regular pistol?
Yeah, it's not on here.
Those are usually 2. All right. So you pop a cap in this thing's acicular region. It doesn't really have so much of an ass as it has a tentacle, but you blast a tentacle off. It leaves a little bit of a snail trail as it's still continuing to run away. It has not slowed down, but it definitely looks like it's seen better days. And that will bring us around to Morton. Also, Morton, as you begin your action, whatever that may be, you start to hear like an alert, like an alarm going off. Because, gunfire.
Oh, far out. This is going to be weird. So the wires that I plucked out.
Yes.
Is there a way that I can make that into like a ball form and then throw that?
I mean, you could. So right now, just so that we're 100% clear on what's happening, you have about 8 feet of wire.
Okay.
That is dragging at that length a body.
I see.
So now you can leap forward and quite possibly catch this thing with both of the ends.
Okay. I thought it was way further. Okay.
No, no, you're because you took off right after it.
Yeah.
So you're basically on one another's heels.
Far out. Yes, I would love to leap forward.
Excellent.
Stick some bolts up its.
What skill would you like to use, and what attribute would you like to rely on?
Athletics and guess resolve.
Okay. Let's see it.
Did that work?
Did.
Oh.
You dive forward. It sort of shimmies to the left, shimmies to the right, and then you dive and you like make perfect contact with both points right in the bullet hole. And it starts to smoke and boil and little bulbs start to come off of it, and it blows up directly on your face. Now, the concussive force was dumbed down by the body. So like the skin took most of the damage. You're just like entirely covered in blood, ink, and calamari.
Delicious. Cool. I take a whiff of the cigarette and just make my way back to the group.
Though the cigarette is covered in sea slime, the tip is still burning. So if you want to get a final drag off it before you flick it, you're welcome to do so.
Yes, please.
Excellent.
Yeah. Oh,
Brought to you by Philip Morris.
I was just gonna do an old-timey radio voice and evoke a cigarette brand. And I was like, this stream is sponsored by Dr. Recommended Lucky Strike. We don't need a filter because we're smooth.
Morton walks back to the car, and inexplicably, there's just a cowboy leaning by the fence, like tip the hat.
But Morton, as you are making your way, go ahead and give me a resolve cunning, or I'm not resolve cunning, cunning integrity. I apologize.
No.
And while I'm doing that, the two of you also do obviously hear this alarm go off.
Yeah, I would like to grab the walkie off of the guy who is kind of near us. Right.
Yeah. I mean, unless you would like to spend some rewrites, that walkie-talkie is not usable. It's like you find it. It's attached to part of what was once his hip, but it's blown to shit.
Oh, okay. Never mind then. There is a phone in the guard tower, though.
There is.
I would like to try to make my way to the phone in the guard tower, and I'm going to impersonate one of the guards and speak robotically and say, the intruders have been neutralized or something like that.
You start rushing toward the guard tower. What are you doing in that time, Alvin?
I'm going to get back in the car.
Okay.
And reverse it and pull toward the gate.
Okay.
So that it kind of looks like we just arrived.
Okay. You start backing up towards the gate. Morton, you are the first one to arrive at the gate. And with your 3 successes on your integrity cunning roll, as you're walking by, scraping gunk out of your face, whatever, you look over and you see the 2 guards that you just spoke to sort of crumpled and stuffed underneath the desk in the guard tower. You're pretty sure that unless they are some sort of circus performers, their bodies should not be in the arrangement that they are in. And they don't appear to be breathing or anything along those lines.
Tight.
It is quite in fact.
Seems like a tight fit.
About that time, Alvin, you come pulling up. I believe you're froze, Alvin. Do we still have you on audio?
He's doing the Kirk palm. the Picard palm.
I mean,
yeah.
That tracks. It's a reasonable reaction given everything.
Yes.
Give him a minute. Welcome back.
Sorry about that.
No worries. Tech
I
happens.
guess it was my turn.
You're making a beautiful face, though. You had the Picard,
Well, I'm glad I could get into position then before I disappeared.
So because you are in a vehicle and Dirk is not, you zip past Dirk up to Morton as Morton is looking into the guard tower. And how are you reacting to that, Morton?
I light another cigarette. I'm not really going to show any facial at all to it.
Right. And you see Morton light up a cigarette, and you look in the guard tower and you see the 2 bodies folded.
You got something on your face.
My face?
They right here.
Oh, that's what you're talking about.
You pull a whole ass tentacle off your cheek.
Oh. That's horrible.
It's the latest craze. Do the folded guards, do they have radios or anything?
No.
Okay.
They're in A shirts and underwear and socks and sock garters.
to the bare minimum. Got it.
Yeah.
How tentacruel of these things.
I don't get it.
You come running up, Dirk. Sorry.
We're your friends. I blaze into the guard tower, try to find the phone, and I don't know if you want me to make a check, but I was thinking, manipulation sounds like a good one, and then maybe
Sure.
Persuasion, I guess. Is that?
Yes. What I would like you to do is you run past as these two are having their exchange. Just go full board, sliding into the guard tower, grab the phone, dial operator or what? Like, what are you dialing when you pick up the phone?
Is there any? A lot of times you just pick up the phone, it just goes through. You don't have to dial,
I'll allow it. It's the 50s.
Okay.
Why not?
Yeah.
So you
it's a specialized closed circuit. I mean, it's not like a phone, you know what I mean? Like it's probably just going to go into somewhere. So
sure.
Unless there's like signage around that says dial 9 for an outside line and dial, 8 for the head office or anything like that.
Yeah. I mean, it would probably say like dial 0 for switchboard.
Or something. Yeah. Right. Guards are dumb. They need to be told what to do.
It can't be that many because it's probably a rotary phone, and in an emergency, they don't want to stand there and try to ring the dial a whole bunch of times.
Right.
Okay. So do I roll, or what do you want me to? Yeah.
I want you to roll. I want you to roll composure and something as like the instant you bring the phone up to your ear, you look over and see the two people that are folding that.
Okay. That's the attribute. Then do you want me to do a skill on top of that?
Yeah, whatever skill you feel might be the most appropriate.
Well, science, it's like,
sure,
this isn't nothing this guy's seen for. Plus, it's also something I have a high roll on. But so composure and science, I do have an AR in the science.
Right. Yeah, you're good to go. So you get 2 extra dice from your AR. But
okay,
you
I also get 2 extra dice for
your wound. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm a little shaken, but like I'm cool. So
yeah.
All right. So
yeah, you're totally fine. So you pick up and you say what into the phone?
I try to imitate not necessarily the voice of the guards, but the monotone of the guards, and go, "The intruders have been neutralized."
Abort. The surface dwellers are aware of our position.
They have been neutralized. I say the plan should continue.
The naval alarms going off. Abort, click.
Oh, that didn't work very well.
Right about the time that's happening, you all see a set of flashing lights start to make its way up around the building, like it's coming from the other side of the building toward you all.
Let's see.
I'm gonna check my surroundings for a cannon.
There's no cannons, but there are 2 shotguns and 2, I guess, assault rifles and 2 pistols in the guard shack. It seems that whatever these squid things took over the guards, they left their weapons, their firearms, and didn't put them out.
I'm going to level my atomic device at the flying saucer.
Okay. You level your atomic device in the direction of the lights. What would you like to do, Morton?
I would like to disperse the weapons. I would like to grab an assault weapon and then hand one off to Alvin. Just for in case.
You slide it into the car door. Alvin, what would you like to do as you see these flashing lights illuminating around the side of the building?
Do I by any chance see what they're attached to?
No, it's like, imagine if something was lighting up past the wall going in. You know what I mean? You're seeing the flicker of the light. You're not seeing the light. However, I will give you this much: as you are, you've seen these lights before. It's a familiar pair of colors that you see flashing.
Hey, and I'm gonna at this point step out of the vehicle.
Okay. You step out of the vehicle calmly. Are you holding the weapon still?
Yes.
Okay.
It's part of the reason I'm calm.
A Jeep comes whipping around the corner with 4 MPs in it.
And this is the part where we look suspicious.
They pull up and say, what's going on here?
Are they in the robotic kind of voice of the others?
Not at all. The passenger is stands up and like points his assault rifle at you all as the Jeep sort of skids to a stop.
Okay. We're guests of Dr. Herbert Smith, trying to get to the bottom of certain things, and your MPs have been taken over by
the thing that took my face. The doctor comes running up.
Yeah. So yes, we had a little run-in with them and we survived, but as you can see from the wounds, just barely. The doctor's fine. Now we've got to get to the bottom of this. So put your weapons away and try to help us.
The MPs kind of look at one another and say, all right, Doc, I understand you've got clearance, but not this kind of clearance. We're all going to go inside and have a chat about this. I need you to drop the weapon. I need you all to put your hands up. And, oh my God, what happened to Joey and Ricky?
As I said, they've been taken over by aliens or some other creatures as yet we have not been able to determine.
Is there still evidence on my face that I can point to?
And mine?
Yeah. I mean, you're all wounded and you're all bleeding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll find your 2 men, unfortunately, not alive in the guard shack, as their bodies were essentially simulated by these creatures and their clothes were stolen. Dr. Smith can corroborate all of this. I'll roll manipulation if I have to, or whatever.
I mean, you can roll manipulation, persuasion. That's fine. You're going to have a complication of 5 because the atmosphere here is paranoid, and their attitude towards you is enemy at this point. They think you're communists. So,
okay.
So you'll have to overcome that 5. Your difficulty is +5, effectively.
Okay. Well, I got a +2, or with with my wound, manipulation, persuasion, not so good.
And then you get to roll the 2 extra dice.
That's right. I keep forgetting it's not like D&D where you just add 2 to it.
Right. Close, but no dice. They step forward very aggressively. That was very close, actually. They step forward aggressively. What would Alvin like to do in this situation?
I drop the weapon. All right, look. I'm going very slowly because that's my speed. Show you my credentials. And I'm going to show a badge.
Okay.
We're investigating a series of terrible events taking place in this quiet town. This evening, if you look behind you, and not all of you have to do that, I understand you don't trust us, you're going to see the half-destroyed torso of some kind of robotic person suit.
You notice one of them like perk up when you say that?
These squid creatures simulated your friends and then drove them like a Cadillac. Not enough to fool us, though. We're smarter than the average robot. So now we're here with Dr. Smith, and I gesture to the doctor because that's what actors do.
Dr. Smith.
We're trying to get to the bottom of what could quite possibly be full-scale invasion.
I have to call this into the general.
You do that.
Lock down the base. No one gets out or in. All right. Smith says, my laboratory. We must go to my laboratory. Jones, Johnson, go with them. And he runs over and picks up the phone. I need the Secretary of Defense. What would you like to do? 2 of the MPs are now with you.
Well, you heard the good doctor. Time to go to the lab and cook up a solution.
Well, they're wanting to take 2 of them want to take us to see the general, though, right? Or no? Or what are they?
No. They said you all go handle the lab, and the one dude ran off and called to get the Secretary of Defense on the phone.
Okay. All right. Yes, let's get to the lab.
All right. You all sort of Scooby-Doo run into the building.
I did not put down my nuclear device because it doesn't necessarily look like a weapon. I'm hoping it just looks like a device. Okay.
Yeah, it's a sonic screwdriver that shoots nuclear rays out of it.
Yeah.
So you run inside, and as you run in, you go past there's like a front reception type desk. Mm-hmm. And as you run past it, you see 2 more MPs folded up and stuffed underneath that. It's just Chad, Brad.
They don't look like any of the ones who are with us, though, right?
No.
Okay. No time for sentimentality. We have to stop this.
Excellent. You run in, and Dr. Smith puts in the code to his personal laboratory. You open it up, and from behind, you see Susie standing in the laboratory.
Oh.
And she's like rifling through his desk, and she stops and squares her shoulders up. Again, her back still to you.
Mm-hmm.
Travis.
Yes.
What kind of shoes is Susie wearing?
Susie is wearing those blue shoes, the blue wedges.
Wait a minute, though. I thought that those were left back at the house. So this is possibly the real Susie who put those shoes. Oh no, the creature probably copied those shoes or something like that. No, because didn't we find only one back at the house and one at the car?
Yeah, the clothing was missing, which means the creature would have had to have taken it.
Right. Scratch that.
Well, we found one back.
He's wearing.
We found one back at the house and one back at.
No shoes, and she is wearing the dress from earlier. You're right. I'm wrong. Yes.
Okay.
No shoes and the dress from earlier in the evening.
Yes. Okay. I kind of turn to everybody and kind of give a just go along with me kind of vibe, and Susie, thank heaven we found you. We thought you were missing. Meanwhile, I have my atomic device behind my back, ready to go.
She turns to face you as her eyes light up, and she says, "You will give me the submarine."
What submarine are you talking about, Susie? A sandwich?
The two MPs like let out like ear-curdling shrieks and step backwards, fumbling with their rifles.
Wait, she's just like a girl who turned around, according to them, though, right? They don't.
You all see her eyes light up when she turns around.
Oh, you're talking about literally, not like I'm excited.
Yeah, like if you look at her token.
Okay.
And you can start to see like little protrusions looking like tentacles that have in like the cups and whatnot, like moving under the skin of her cheeks.
All right. I hoist out the nuclear thingamabob and I'm like, Susie, I know those shotguns won't do a lot to you, but this will annihilate you instantly. So let's have a seat and we can maybe talk about this. And you tell us what we want to know and you might be able to get out of this alive.
Need the submarine.
Let's see.
Go ahead and roll. You'd like to make like a persuasion. You can attempt to effectively. You have three ways you can tackle this. One would be try to alter the atmosphere of the room. Pointing a weapon, probably not the way to do that. The atmosphere of the room currently is tension. Okay. Okay. Her attitude towards you, you could try to shift her attitude, which right now she sees you as a pest. Or you could just try to sort of power through those limitations and just persuade or intimidate her, taking complications for each of those factors.
I have a plan. I'm going to sort of put my device in my pocket and say, Susie, I'm a man of science. I don't know exactly what your agenda is here, but I'm not like all of these other folks here. I actually just want to discover new things, including what your intention is and more about your species. I'm sure we can both get what we want out of this. So just relax and let's get through this.
Just to be clear, you mean the military other folks when you say you're not like the other folks here, right?
Anybody who wants to shoot Susie, I'm not that guy. That's all I'm saying. If you're on team Don't Shoot Susie, then you're not like the other folks. You're like me. I'm playing good cop, bad cop here, bro.
Or I could just end up being like undecided.
Sure. All right, go ahead and make your persuasion or command or whichever skill you would like to try to use here.
And I get plus two, right?
Yep. Is persuasion one of your? Because it's just the plus to your archetype die when you're hurt. So persuasion is not an archetype skill. Then no.
It's not. No.
All right. You look at her and she sort of like shoots her eyes over towards the military men, like almost to indicate like, you know, that they're messing up the mojo in this room.
All right.
Anything that you would like to do, Morton or Alvin?
So I'm gonna the doc has Squiddy on the bit. So I'm gonna take the military police. Listen, fellas, this is a delicate situation. Could you stop screaming for a second? Listen.
They stop being audible. They go like, ah!
Okay. Let's how about we all clear out? Yeah. Let's just I'm gonna usher them toward the door.
They're like, what? But she's in there with the national security. Push them.
That's why Dr. Smith is here, to save the national security of secrets.
And whilst that's occurring, Morton, anything you're doing?
I mean, I'm just on standby, to be honest.
All right. Anything you're readying? Any sort of action that you're prepared to do if things go sideways? Are you stepping into a boxing stance, or are you just kind of standing there loosely waiting to see what happens?
A little loosey-goosey waiting to see what happens. I don't want to add any more tension to the room.
All right. And then So once they're clear, she looks back at you, Dirk, but she doesn't say anything.
Susie, I'd like to keep this cordial and just talk. I don't want to have to restrain you in any way. I pick up some rope. This is how we tie a bowline, which is very hard to escape from. This is a four-in-hand knot, and that is one of my short-term aspirations. I gave a knot before.
She opens her mouth. For a moment, you think she might be like in surprise, but then like 4 tentacles come out and just start like rubbing her on the outside of her face. And she says, I need the nuclear submarine.
And I need that trick on all you can eat rib night.
Why do you need the submarine, Susie? What is your actual name? It's not Susie. What should I call you? Susie it is. Let's see.
She says, trust surface dwellers.
What do you have against surface dwellers?
You empty your toilets into my home.
Oh yeah, it hit us for that too.
I'm not exactly jazzed about it either. Well, we can try to embargo that. I don't think there's a need for violence or destruction.
Violence, destruction.
So far, all I know is some of our townsfolk are dead, and also some of yours now too. I think we can end this in a stalemate where everybody gets at least a little bit of what they want without any more bloodshed or ink shed or whatever the hell you have going on inside of that body of yours.
Go ahead and give me another, let's do persuasion. You can have a +2 enhancement because you mentioned that some of her people were dead.
Okay.
Okay, so that's enough to crack through the atmosphere. Whilst that's happening, Alvin, are you doing anything as this conversation is continuing?
Has Susie has kind of stood still and is talking to Dirk. Like she's not, her appendages don't seem to be doing anything else.
Correct. Yeah. In fact, you could almost say that the human suit that she's piloting is unnervingly still at the moment. Like she's not reaching out with her arms or making anything like any broad gestures.
What is Dr. Smith up to right now?
Staring in like mouth agape wonder, as if imagine Oppenheimer looking at the test. Like that's what he's doing. He's like, he looks mind blown and overcome with like a revelation.
He has become death.
Yes.
So upon getting the military people back, I'm going to walk over to the doctor. Not
Smith.
Dirk, Dr. Smith. For the audience, this would be a louder conversation. For the purposes of the room, we're trying to have it in hushed tones.
Sure.
Doc, what submarine is your little squid princess talking about?
And we are working on a nuclear sub here. It's due to have her maiden voyage next month, but we cannot hand over a submarine.
Oh no, I agree. I just wanted to know what kind of sub we were talking about.
Yes, it is our first fully functional nuclear powered submersible boat It is something that the United States Navy is quite proud of.
I'd imagine so.
She says, submarine violence, my people. What are you doing, Morton?
Oh, sorry. I'm still just engrossed in the conversation, to be honest.
Yeah. A bit of goo drips off your face.
Oh, thank you.
So I think I'm like, Susie, why were you chosen for this job among your people?
No surface well.
No surface well?
Nice weather we're having.
Oh, in other words, so she barely understands the language and stuff like that.
No, you're getting the impression that she's trying to communicate that she is one of the more educated members of her species about the surface.
Oh, okay.
And those 3 words.
But then she said that as if to indicate to you that how well she knows the surface, she remarked on the weather.
Oh. Okay. All right. Let's see. Just let's see. Susie, you have to know that we can't let you get a hold of a submarine. I guess I wonder why you were sent on this suicide mission. Do your people not respect you or think of you very highly?
Save my people.
Did you take this upon yourself? Are you their leader, or did somebody recruit you to do this?
I'm science person like you.
Well, now we can speak in a language we both understand, I believe.
What's that?
What?
No, I just say, now I can speak in a language we can both understand. Are you serious?
What is your scientific purpose for this submarine? What do you wish to achieve with it?
Defense.
Science is about wonder and exploration. It's not about fight or conquest.
No fights, no conquest. Protect, shield.
What strikes me by coming up here to the surface, you're very close to coming to declaring war on the surface. You think you have it bad now. You get the might of the military against you, and well, that's not very logical.
Surface make war.
What was our first act of war?
Boom like suit.
Are you possibly referring to the nuclear testing off the Bikini Atoll?
Bikini.
It's at this latitude and longitude.
She rips her dress off. Bikini.
Your father's here. Let's not do that. Plus, my heart belongs to another. What if you do not find the submarine? What is the plan B of your people?
Protect, make safe, learn.
Well, so more people will come up to try to find this submarine if you do not succeed. And I have to say, your chances of success seem very slim at this point.
More.
How many of you are there?
Many.
Well, there are 5 billion of us. I think that's about how many there were. And maybe it's 4 billion.
3 billion of us.
3, yeah. And surely there's a way our people can live in harmony and not try to give you anything you feel like you need to defend against.
Stop boom. Stop oil. Stop poop in my house.
The third one I completely agree with. I'm sorry that we're leaving that in your living room.
Fucking cruise ships.
Carnival's gonna get a call from me.
If my friends could see me now. Let's see. Well, we have to be able to come up with who do you report to? Maybe we can speak with them.
Take you to my leader?
I suppose one could say, take me to your leader. Or, since I can't breathe underwater and you seem to be okay up here, how about bring your leader to us? We'll have a summit. We have definitely been an aggressor in several wars, but we've also resolved our differences by sitting down at a table and just discussing how we can move forward.
Make meeting, let Susie go.
You may have a little trouble convincing them to let you go. But if I have your word that you will try to be amicable and trying to help reach an armistice, then I will try to do everything I can.
She looks around and says, good faith, and like opens her mouth and like makes like a ring with her tongue, and like slowly crawls out and hits the ground in like a moist split.
All right.
And then starts crawling over toward a chemical drain in the floor.
Okay. All right, back off. Let her go.
Safe travels.
She slurps down into the sewer drain.
Okay.
That was some mighty fancy tonguing you did there.
I am a cunning linguist.
So does she have our number? Or?
It's Klondike 125.
The doctor says, she has been in my home. She knows how to reach us.
Yeah. Speaking of, doctor, whatever security you have going on with that submarine, it needs to be doubled, tripled, or quadrupled. I trust her, but I can't trust the rest of her people necessarily.
We will tell the Secretary of State. We'll tell the Secretary of State.
Doc, it's just us in the room. You don't have to pretend you're not a crowd.
We already know you're with Project Paperclip. A real thing that probably people in the 50s didn't know about yet. I don't know when it came out that Project Paperclip was a real thing. I think it was declassified way later. Just like all of a sudden Werner von Braun is showing up and making missiles. Rockets. So
about this time, the door to the office is busted open. And it appears as though like every military person in the base is like sort of bottlenecked in that hallway with guns pointed in the room. You hear a lot of and a couple of hoorahs.
I quickly go over to the Susie bot and start restraining the robot with my aforementioned very incredible knot skills. Like, we have her subdued.
All right, Bella, I need you to move the tentacles a little more. Bella.
You know what, fellas? This is an awful lot of gun for just us.
They say, is the alien secured?
Yes. this is the alien right here, and we have rope around it. All good.
I'll see to it you have a medal before this day is out, son. And they pick you up, they pick her up and just start walking out with her. They don't really seem to notice that like she doesn't bend or move in any way, shape, or form. She's not really responding to being, it's like carrying out a mannequin or a robot.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right.
And they just sort of leave you there.
Okay. I turned to the doctor. Doctor, what was your purpose for coming to this lab?
What is my purpose? My purpose is to design the reactor in which the ship gets its power.
So this submarine isn't even operational yet that everybody was seeking out?
Yeah.
Tell me about your designs.
I'm going to walk over while they're talking to where Susie was standing when we first came in this room and kind of like, I am now Susie, and looking like, what am I looking at?
Go ahead and give me technology and then whatever attribute you feel would best go with that. Science would apply as well. And failing either of those, you could also probably go with humanities.
No, technology, and I think let's go with technology and cunning.
Okay.
I think that seems like a thing.
So you can see that this is like stacks upon stacks of not only like mathematics notes and like hand drawn, almost looks like maybe draft schematics, maybe. But like underneath it all is like a blueprint of the submarine. And you see like, I'll even give to you that it looks for all the world like you see some like markings on the blueprint that look like they're relatively fresh, like wet ink still. Looks like somebody was like maybe laying something down next to the marking and like or next to the schematic and like making a mark every so often. It's about a cubit worth of distance. The schematic itself takes up most of the table, so it's sort of laid out underneath those other notes. So your guess is maybe somebody was measuring like the length of the representation, like the length of the drawing in arm lengths.
Okay.
So, Doctor, what kind of fuel source were you envisioning for this?
Plutonium.
Plutonium? That's incredibly dangerous to have in a self-contained underwater vehicle.
And very difficult to get a hold of, I'm sure. In the 1980s, you'll be able to go pick it up at the local grocery store. But in 1955...
yeah. Let's see. Yeah. Let's see. Plutonium... plutonium is probably... It's got to be the last thing on the atomic table, periodic table at this point, I think, at 1950.
Sure.
It's got to be pretty close to the last. So, all right, like, I don't think mankind is ready for this just yet. How are you going to contain it? You could have yourselves another demon core on your hands.
We have field tested the reactor. They are safe. Through American ingenuity and engineering, with a little bit of help from me, we have been able to create a reactor wall that is impervious to the radiation.
And what would that wall be made of?
It's several alloys: steel, concrete, iron.
None of those will do it. You would need cobalt at least, but that would help the reactor go critical.
We can put a layer of the cobalt on the outside. You may help us solve a problem. We are using an experimental liquid coolant. And he starts pointing at like the various schematics. And he's, why was someone drawing on this? And he like touches the ink.
And it's squid ink.
That squid person has defiled my drawings.
She was measuring.
Why would she? There's the measurements are marked clearly.
But not in her language.
That's not even people in Europe know what feet are.
I had to learn the conversions when I came over.
The point Alvin was making is that the squid people probably didn't know imperial units. Let's see.
How did they find out about this in the first place?
I do not know.
It's very possible you have a mole in your midst or a squid.
I doubt it. It's not like they would have complete strangers come in with the doctor and then leave us in the room with him after we had dealt with an alien threat.
No, that seems like a terrible risk for security.
Yeah, that would just be implausible and should be very much looked down upon if it actually happened.
How many people do you have working on this project?
Working on the project, 200. Working on the project in the engineering department, there's 5 of us. But if they had, they would, the leak would have to be coming from somewhere further down the chain. Yeah.
Further up or down?
Down.
Where is this ship being constructed?
Oh, right over here. He like walks over, enters in a code, another door opens. You see the sub like in.
Well, that explains why they were here.
She is a beauty. She can take a crew of 200 men and they can remain submerged for up to 6 weeks.
Well, theoretically, right now, this carcass of a submarine can't do dick because you don't have the fuel system figured out.
Oh, no, the fuel system is fine. It is fully operational. We are waiting for the PA to be installed before we do the maiden voyage.
The PA?
Yes, we wanted to have a, what is it that the kids call it these days? The hi-fi.
So you already have the plutonium installed within the submarine?
Yes, it is fully operational.
I take out a Geiger counter.
It's
Were you possibly on staff in Los Alamos, part of the Trinity Project? Do you know of some of the misdeeds that these people have done to themselves? Are you familiar with the Demon Corps?
Nonsense.
Were you there, though?
No.
Okay.
Approximately how many people do you have under you?
In the engineering department? 4 others besides me. It's 5 of us.
We must meet them. And we must get out of here. We've already absorbed enough radiation in a couple minutes that were allowed by standards in a couple years.
I'm sure it'll be all right. I've been out in the sun without screen.
If you insist.
With that note, you step outside. See fresh air. It's good.
Yeah, so I'm a little unclear on where to go from here. Part of me thinks we should sabotage the sub or just make another one or whatever.
These things already took 2 military police and this guy's daughter.
Walk that way, please.
Yeah.
We don't know how many more of them there might be. And it could be the reason that Susie left. That's what I'm calling her instead of Bubble Pop or whatever that noise was. She might have left and agreed to your terms because they're just planning on coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think the only thing we can do, aside from warning the Department of Defense, is go back to my home, the one place we know that they will go, and wait for them.
I suppose. Barring that, I mean, I could try to fix your sub. It's not really operational as it is. It will kill your men.
Okay, first of all, the men know what they are signing up for. Secondly, I highly doubt it will kill the men.
Your doubt is not particularly germane right now. It will. How do you not have a Geiger counter?
Oh, no, you do not want to be on the outside of this thing at all. It's a bad idea.
Well, we have to do something about that.
The outside is the water. It's...
No. That's exactly what these squid people are railing against. The fact that we go down into their home and we poison it with radiation now, of all things.
Ah, I see.
Give me a bit, and I can actually put a containment around this that will mitigate how much radioactive leakage this thing spews as it goes through.
Okay.
Wait a minute. I'm not a scientist.
You can say that again.
I'm not a scientist. But if these things wanted to take the submarine and use it for defense, they weren't worried about the radiation coming off of it.
No. But here's the thing. Mr. Smith, I need to speak with my colleagues for just a moment.
Oh, of course. I'll just go and have a schnitzel. He walks off.
My purpose is twofold. I'll surround the core in cobalt and a couple other alloys that are going to help it react without turning all the water around it into deuterium. But I'm also going to rig a fail-safe device so that we could neutralize it if need be. For instance, if the squid creatures actually do get a hold of it.
That's my concern. We're standing in the middle of a military base, and we don't even know how many more of these people are actually people.
Well, I'll be able to do this all by myself. And if you can keep everything else organized and moving along, I should be able to get about my work pretty quickly.
As long as the doctor's got coffee at his house and maybe something stronger, we'll be fine.
Despite my misgivings that I have had with you at the beginning of this movie,
or the middle,
trust you both, or 8 minutes ago, I trust you both. Godspeed.
All right. The rest of you head back to the doctor's.
Yep.
You're going to stay behind and get into the reactor core and do this, which apparently makes it better. I saw that in a Star Trek movie once.
Sure. Yeah. I'm going to press 3 buttons and fix everything.
Ship out of danger.
Yeah.
So give me a...
all we had to do is pull the thing out and turn it? Okay.
Science, technology, what are we relying on here?
Well, I'm also I'm going to go for a trademark. There, I fixed it.
Okay.
Which is cunning.
Okay. So yeah, give me a cunning and technology.
Okay. Well, can I do science instead of technology? Since it's
Oh,
higher?
sure. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
No objections here.
And that's an AR. So I guess I'll get to add from my,
Yes.
that'll leave a scar thing. Okay. So there's science, and then there's cunning. And do I get anything extra since I'm using one of my trademarks? It doesn't.
The 2 extra dice. So you roll 4 extra dice now.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah. Okay, so that's significant enough to give you directorial control. You can add or remove an element from the scene. It's also enough to give you the ability to fix this. And what you discover as you are fixing it is, yeah, it's basically designed to use the ship's exterior both as a heat sink, but also as like a radiation sink. When you're inside the sub, it's well within acceptable levels with Geiger counter. Okay.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and put an actual, like, sort of modern day, shielding around this thing. And I don't know what they really use. I know cobalt was used in the Demon Core, and it was actually a big problem. but I do magic or scientific, phlebotinum that does that. But the thing I'd like to add is a sort of fail-safe with that will neutralize the sub entirely.
Sure. You have a panic button that you can touch and set it off by radio.
By radio, yes. It won't explode the sub.
It just shuts it off.
It'll shut everything off except for life support. So it won't be able to fire any missiles or even actually move or anything like that. And certainly it'll also neutralize the nuclear thing entirely.
Beautiful. So, you have a lovely technology montage as you're welding and hammering and putting screwdrivers into things and adjusting them. And that's where I think we'll take our quick biological technological break. And when we get back, we'll come back for the next act of the story.
Ooh. Okay.
Stay tuned. Don't touch that.
All right.
Same bat time, same bat channel. I'm very back. See, I told you we'd be right back. So just before the break, you had convinced Susie to return to her people. Dirk had stayed behind to fortify and correct the issues with the reactor that prevented it from leaking into the sea, whilst the rest of you made your way over to Dr. Smith's.
Yeah, and as the as the car is driving back to Dr. Smith's, and we come back from whatever break we had, the sea, one of the great mysteries of the world. Just like why dames love shopping so much. Unknowable and unsolvable. Day started with me just investigating a teenage boy. Crazy antics. Didn't know I'd be wrapped up in government conspiracies like the insides of a burrito. Tight and entwined. Now we're heading to the house of a secret German scientist working on a nuclear submarine, while a friend of ours tries to make that submarine safer for the world. Here I am, driving a car, wanting a cup of coffee, maybe a sandwich, and a nap.
Dr. Smith says, if you want to stop for coffees, there is a drive-through right over there. It's a brand new thing. You pull up and they bring you the food.
They actually do that?
Yes.
I said all of that out loud, didn't I?
You did, yes. I didn't think that you didn't think you had.
Awkward. Yeah, we pull over for coffee.
You pull up. The car hop brings you some coffee. You head back over to the house. When you arrive at the house, there is a man sitting on the stairs next to another teenage girl that looks somewhat Susie-ish, but not at all. It is not Susie. Similar hair color, similar build, but definitely not Susie. The man stands up and extends a hand and says, "It's a lovely evening we're having, isn't it?"
Yep. It is lovely.
Should we go inside out of this beautiful weather? Yes.
Right. Let's go inside.
As soon as you walk inside, he takes his hat off and sets it on the hat rack, looks at it for a minute, takes it off the hat rack and puts it back on the hat rack, shakes his head and smirks, walks over and sits down. I am Ambassador.
I am Alvin.
Hello, Alvin.
This is Morton.
Hello, Morton.
I am not Alvin. So.
Hello, not Alvin.
And again, as I introduce Morton,
He says, "I sent our operative to retrieve your submarine so that we could build a defense that would work against it. Do you have the submarine with you?"
Unfortunately, the submarine does not fit in my pocket. It is currently back at the base.
It does not fit in your pocket. Do tell me more.
This submarine that you're looking to steal. And I want to do some quick math in my head based on the measurements that I was seeing earlier. Approximately how many of those?
You would assume that the boat is 40 cubits by 60 cubits by...
Submarine that you're looking to acquire is approximately 60 tentacles by 40 tentacles in size.
That is not what we were led to believe. Looks over at the woman looks over at him. He looks over at the woman looks over at him. It seems we have made an error.
Well, I think maybe, and the point of this is that both of our species have made some miscalculations. You missed that. Yeah, I get that a lot. You misjudged the size of our technology, and we in turn did not consider where our waste ends up. At the end of the day, whether we're above or below the water, we've all got to live on the same blue dot.
Blue.
The color. You don't see colors.
heat.
Is it hot? Do we need... Dr. Smith, is there a temperature adjustment?
We do not
here?
put the thermostat above 78 in this house. The ambassador stands up and starts to walk towards the back door.
So we cool?
I'm gonna go with him.
He stops when he gets to the door and looks over at you. Both sides made mistakes. No more poop in my house.
There's a lot of it. That might take a little time. But I think no more poop in your house.
He nods and walks out the back door.
Pat Alvin on the back. Good job.
Is that what it's like to work in sanitation? We have to call the military right now. Seems we need to negotiate a ceasefire on number 2.
The group reunites. What would you like to do from here? You have effectively ended the threat that I had designed for you by negotiating, explaining them that they had a gross misunderstanding of the nature of the weapon, and promising to get rid of sewage being dumped into their home.
The solution is aliens. No. The solution, I feel like, with maybe Dirk like kind of spearheading this initiative, because this is partly his fault. I mean, idea. Is that there's new pipelines, right, that take the sewage and it goes to incineration plants instead of being dumped now. And hopefully, in 100 years, we don't anger a race of mutated bird people that are pissed off that we're pooping in their house now with the fumes. But it's got to go somewhere.
Yes, and you shall call this new treatment plant the Jersey Shore.
So yeah, from here, I guess, I mean, if we're still rolling along, I guess I'd just like to catch people up on what I did.
Sure.
Well, I was able to contain the core, make it safe for the seas and people around it, while also installing a failsafe in case they decide to abuse that power. I made some mistakes in my younger days as a scientist. I jeopardized a lot of lives and maybe even lost my true love in the process. But I hope what I did here today helps with atonement and a little bit of reconciliation with my past. And thus, that would be a long goal: atone and prove worthy.
Yeah. And you say that as you're staring out over the
ocean. Yeah. Stare longing at the ocean.
The three of you are standing on the beach at the end as the end credits roll. Does Morton have any final thoughts or things to say or do as the end credits begin to creep onto the screen?
Just one last drag of a cigarette. I'm about to flick it off into the sea, but as I put it on my hand and then pocket it, so I can put it in the trash later.
I think that's the perfect ending note.
I think we've all learned a little something today.
And a title card comes up that says "Don't litter," and then the end credits roll. And that is our adventure in the game from beneath the sea. Not the ending I had envisioned, not the story I had in mind, but it worked out well. So
go ahead and spill like what you did have in mind. Now,
yeah, the director's cut of this was going to be the Thaumox, which are the creatures that you faced, believed that the submarine was like a small handheld weapon that was going to be used against them. So when they realized that it wasn't, they were like, "Oh, that's not at all what we thought." Basically the idea was you would either talk Susie into relenting, which is kind of like what you did, or if you hadn't rolled as well as you did during that interaction, like there was a threshold at which she just would have flown into a blind rage and tried to kill everybody.
Ladies, am I right?
On that note, so we got like a cool like pro. I'm okay with a pro environmental message at the end. That's cool.
Well, a lot of the funny thing about science fiction is probably 75% of it, maybe more, is pretty anti-science. Or it almost always has the allegorical subtext that science is moving a little faster than we know how to handle it in a way that isn't dangerous or that people actually ravage their own people. Yeah.
Asked if we could, didn't bother to ask if we should, move the grave, move the headstones, didn't move the bodies. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the only other thing I'll say is like one of the things my character did that my character had like 0 dots in the empathy and humanities, and my guy was pretty empathetic. I mean, I don't know if like that's an issue or like as a director, you'd be like, your guy's kind of more of a hard ass and just like, let's make it leak more radiation.
Nothing like wrong that with playing against, it's obviously the system rewards you playing to your strengths, but it's also about overcoming your shortcomings. So I think I had a blast. I did too. I think it's a fun little tale we've told. Any questions, comments, complaints, or concerns from any of the cast? Pesto, you have anything you'd like to add or reflections you'd like to make?
Yeah, I had a question during the fight with the thing coming all up at me. Was there any way to use a stunt or a stunt person for that instead or something? Like, I know it still worked out, but
yeah, like especially like if that would have blown up, you could have used the stunt person, which would have been great because that explosion did 6 dice of damage.
Oh, far out.
So yeah, you could have had it like blow the stunt double up. And then like, so like there'd be this explosion and they'd look over and be like, Morton's dead. And then like, you come walking out of like the smoke, like heavily backlit by the fire. Just a little bit of soot right here and like light a cigarette,
using the existing fire to light the cigarette. Like,
that's one thing I'll say is there are really cool mechanisms of this game that like we didn't use any of our rewrites at all. Right. Like there are just certain things. I think when you encounter like say a magical one-use item in like D&D, for instance, like you're like there's almost always 2 lanes and they're neither one of them prudent, and one of them is use it right away even though you don't need it. Like you use it on a henchman instead of like the big bad, or you're so petrified of not being able to use it that you never use it. And I think that's kind of the way in the back of my mind, my rewrite, I was looking at the rewrite pool and we should have probably just squandered it a little bit on just silly shit, maybe.
In my experience, and I've been running Storypath Showcase now. This is like the 5th or 6th show we've done. In my experience, people are very conservative with their rewrites, momentum, what have you. And the system really rewards you for not being. And like when you fail a roll, it's about failing forward, right? So like with that botched roll, you got 2 extra rewrites in the pool from that botch. So when you fail, failure is almost always rewarded. You know what I mean?
Sure.
In the long term. So it then is also meant to entice you to take risks. So, the takeaway would be for the sequel, spend them rewrites. What were you going to say, James?
Well, I think as a player, between the three of us, I felt in control of the situation most of the time, even with, the botch aside. I usually use rewrites or narrative control or things like that in games when I feel like it's slipping away from us a little bit to rein it back in. And I never felt like it was getting out of reach.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that. I think that's one of the triggering moments. Like when I botched, I'm like, wow, that was 7 dice and dice games, like even online.
Right.
Still curse follows me, but I was actually interested, like, okay, from here, what happens? And then, had it been something where like Tim had really failed that stamina and had taken even more damage than he had already taken, that's probably when I would have suggested we kick that into gear.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
At that point. And
the only other thing I would say about that is also they're not like my rewrites, they're our rewrites. And there was something about like not wanting to, you want your character to have agency. And even if your character is one of a leadership position or kind of a lone wolf or doing their own thing or whatever, you're not that guy as a player, right? So you still want to do right by everybody else. So I think that was also part of it, is like, I don't want to steal the rewrites from the rest of the folk.
The very nature of the rewrite though invites, like, you have to all choose as a group to spend them, or they don't get spent. So I mean, it's really about like yes and on crack. It's about it's about coming together collaboratively to come up with something cool. So I mean, it may very well have been a point. I can't remember which the stuntman was, if that was a group cinematic that you all had, or if that was. But like that could be a thing where like you could suggest, even if it's not your character, Pesto, you can suggest like, why don't we burn the stuntman? So that. But there's also, the system is also like, some of it is when you start getting into like the nitty gritty and the tactical play of They Came From Beneath the Sea, which I know sounds like a funny thing to say out loud, but is present. You can start thinking in terms of like, what is going to be, what's going to be the greater benefit? Is it going to be of greater benefit right now for me to avoid this fate, or is it going to be of a greater benefit right now for me to eat that wound? Because They Came From, as you become wounded, you become more effective at the things you're good at.
Yeah, I noticed that too. And mine seemed like a relatively comfortable amount of damage. Like there wasn't like, I mean, I found it unlikely that I would.
You had 4 or 5 left before your destiny.
Right. Not that I would want to stop playing, but like, the ability to do a death scene sounds like a fun thing too, Sure. So, And so like, is it always just one rewrite per time we call upon it, or do you use, this is a big deal, so that's like 2 or 3.
Some things might cost more rewrites. Yeah.
That's at your discretion, or
usually some of the ones that have like a rewrite cost associated with them have like a 2 rewrite listed in their cost.
Right.
Some of the cinematics will have like multiple rewrites listed in the cost. But yeah, so I mean, there's a number of options, number of ways to tackle it. Well, before I forget, did everyone meet their aspirations? Who all met aspirations today?
I had a short term as I narrated
what you
to
were
myself
doing?
out loud.
Done. Take it. That's an XP for you.
I did everything, baby.
All right. So that will be a total of 5 XP for you. Any aspirations for Morton?
Nah. I was going to put a cigarette out on a squid, but it blew up. So that didn't happen.
I'm sorry you were too good at your, at destroying the squids. I tried to like make that scene directed by Sam Raimi as much as possible, but
Oh, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful visually.
thank you. I try.
Oh yeah, you mentioned a sequel, so
yeah, we'll have to. Once I write one, we'll have to make another one happen.
Yeah, sweet.
I had a lot of fun. So let me.
I mean, would you think it would be with the squid creatures again? Because like that, I mean, that's always kind of a problem. Not a problem, but like usually when they do that in movies, it's. I mean, and there's ways around, like a rogue faction of the squid creatures, you know, and maybe we band together with the squid creatures to suppress this rogue faction or something like that. Or, and possibly more entertaining, is, you know, it's something completely different,
utterly unrelated.
Yeah. Now it's something completely different.
I thought you were pitching a franchise there for a second.
We'll bet. I mean, well, hey, I took one of Trav's ideas, so if he takes one of mine, fair play.
Precisely.
Architect of my own destruction. So,
all right. Any other aspirations get fulfilled? No, that was everybody's. Okay, cool. So you get the experience for your aspirations. It's 2 if it's a long term. You all get 1 for being here and 3 for completing the movie.
All right. So I get another 1 on top of the aspiration 1. Okay.
Yep. Yep.
How many? What is leveling like in this? I've got 7 now.
So you spend experience to purchase particular items. So, like for example, you might raise a path, which would give you more dots to spend as if you had that path dot at character creation, which is expensive. Or you might just raise a skill, you know, which can also, you know, those are cheaper. So 1
experience point per dot of the skills, and then like the paths, that's a different story.
No, there's a chart hiding around somewhere.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if we do decide to go down this road again, which I'm all for, I'll definitely make sure that those are, because I'm assuming pooling them up is really not helping anybody particularly, right? You might as well spend them as soon as you get them, almost, right?
Well, you know, I mean, it depends on where you want to go and with character and how committed you are to that narrative path. You know, spending XP, like oftentimes, not that they came from beneath the sea, cannot be used for a long-term campaign, because it can. Absolutely. But a lot of times it's done as like either one shots or like a series of, you know, like sequels and stuff where you have experience. And depending on what we do next time, depending on what I want to throw you up against next time, I may even say, you know, why don't you all spend 10 XP on your characters to cover the new skills you've learned in the wake of your previous. You know, the next thing could very well be the Thomlocks have now made a peaceful pact with humanity and are coming to ask their assistance because of some sort of merfolk invasion or something. Oh, excuse me. Sorry to be yawning. I apologize.
Oh, you're fine.
In the really real world, I'm exhausted. But to that end, let's go ahead and do our outros so that we can get everybody on with their days. Let's start things off with Mort. Please tell us who you are, what you do, your pronouns, who you're playing, their pronouns, and anything you would like to share with people at home.
Oh, thank you, Travis. Hey, I am Pessimistic. I played Morton Everyman, and I'm she, her, and my character was he, him. And I mostly play games on Twitch in the evenings randomly, sometimes even more random. So yeah, that's basically me, Pessimistic on Twitch.
Which is all the more reason to go and follow Pestle Mystic on Twitch, and that way you'll know when she goes live. Next up, we have Dirk. Please give us your pertinence.
Hi there. Tim Stotts, he, him, his. Dirk is also Dirk into Amoeba histolytica, also he, him, his. He's a scientist. He's looking for love in all the wrong places, it looks like, and knows more about nuclear submarines than I do. And in real life, I'm a video producer, writer, actor. And you can follow me on Instagram at Tim Stotts, spelled just like that. And yeah, I had fun and looking forward to the sequel or the next series or whatever Travis has in mind.
Beautiful. And last but most certainly not least, Mr. Alvin Muldoon, please give us your pertinence.
James Kirk, he, him, as well as Alvin, he, him. Alvin Muldoon, the former G-man turned private investigator turned alien negotiator. So I wear many hats. I'm a therapeutic GM with the Bodhana Group in real life, running games for skill building and adjunct therapy. Also, since Pesto mentioned Twitch, we are officially launching our Twitch channel this week. It'll be out like probably a little while after this airs, but we are going to have a full slate of programming monthly with recurring shows and guests and designers, and we have all kinds of stuff we're going to be rolling out. So I think it's just going to be called the Bodhana Group on Twitch. But that's our new thing. And you can follow us, the Bodhana Group, on Facebook at the Bodhana Group, on the tweets, all those sorts of things.
Sweet. And yeah, please do check out the Bodhana Group. It's a great cause, great organization. Throw them all of your monies. I guess that leaves me. I am Travis Legge. He, him, they is fine too. When I'm not here, I am writing games and doing things that are like writing games, or I'm running them over at my channel, Plastic Age Plays. You can find me anywhere on the internet at Travis Legge. What do I need to let you know about? I think by the time this airs, Anima should be the current Kickstarter. Trinity Continuum Anima, which you should definitely check out if you've not yet done so. It's a beautiful cyberpunk dystopian setting as part of the Trinity Continuum line of games. Obviously, pick up They Came From Beneath the Sea, and the sister game, which I believe it should be available to the public soon, They Came From Beyond the Grave. So definitely check that nod to Hammer Horror out. Maybe we'll come back and we'll sequel They Came From Beyond the Grave or something like that. Same characters though. Or just go full Highlander 2 with it, and we'll play using Trinity Continuum Anima.
Guys, we are constantly in the wrong place at the wrong time.
We'll start the game. We'll start the game off with Dirk like dead of old age, and like Alvin goes and cuts someone's head off, and is like, my old friend Dirk.
Let's aspire to have as good a content as Highlander 2.
Sir, let's be a little easy with the bar you're setting here for me.
Oh man.
Having said that, and with all apologies to Christopher Lambert, I would like to wish you all a good evening, good fight, good night. Get your shots, get your booster shots, and take care of yourselves and each other. See you again real soon.
Bye.
Bye.